Legislative session might be over, but the fight over one of the most hotly contested bills passed by state lawmakers is still very much alive.
News 8 political reporter Mike Cerulli has details.
Governor? We all want to build some housing. 5,002 is not the way.
That's a social media post by Republican State Representative Joe Zullo singing his opposition to Bill 5002, a major housing law authored by Democrats and passed during this year's legislative session. Supporters say the bill as a whole will help address the state's shortage of housing, which some studies have estimated around 100,000 units. The bill now sits on Governor Lamont's desk awaiting either a signature or a veto. Lamont has been on the receiving end of a multi-pronged lobbying effort by local leaders, Republicans, and many moderate Democrats who see a number of red flags in the bill. After hearing that barrage of complaints, the governor said,
I think there's some changes that have to take place.
The most controversial portions of the bill are those that concern local zoning rules. Supporters say it's necessary to remove some bureaucratic barriers to build more housing. Opponents warn some provisions are an encroachment of the principle of local control. Those provisions include a ban on minimum parking requirements imposed by towns on developments, another measure which makes it much easier to convert certain commercial properties into residential units, and a particularly controversial portion that would establish baselines for the amount of affordable housing each town or city is able to build.
It absolutely is a mandate. It allocates to every single town a certain amount of housing they have to build no matter what.
The notion that 5002 constitutes a mandate on towns to build a certain amount of housing is something that its supporters contest, though it is true that communities that hit the goals set by the bill would be prioritized for certain state funding.
You know, anytime you want to have a policy outcome, there needs to be an accountability measure, and that's what we're talking about here. We can call it a stick, I call it accountability. We expect every other area of government to be accountable for something. Towns should be accountable too.
So now that the governor has voiced his concerns, it's up to him and the legislature to find a path forward. The governor, he could veto this bill and ask lawmakers to craft something new. He could also sign it with the expectation that lawmakers will pass amendments before the bill goes into effect in October. Reporting in Hartford, Mike Cerulli, News 8.